Hey folks, welcome to Camera Day's bite-sized video tutorials. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about RAW more than anything else versus JPEG. I'm going to use Lightroom as the example of why would you do it and how do you edit a Lightroom file, but really just to kind of show you the differences of why you should try to move towards RAW photography. It does mean you have to do a little bit more effort in your processing. Try shooting both maybe. RAW and JPEG, most cameras allow it to start, but here I want to give you some real examples to show you why it's so important that you do it. And you'll see here there's a bunch of range of images here, and I'm going to start off with this one. It's a JPEG. You can see there it's kind of all right. It's reasonably sharp, it's well exposed, it's pretty usable. I could edit it and get a decent file out of it. The CR2, you'll notice, is slightly different. You'll notice the color has changed. This is probably closer to what it already was. Why? Because the camera has already done some processing to that image. So it's already started to manipulate it. It's already made settings in the camera that I haven't chosen that I want to do. So ultimately, this has more detail. If I go into develop, I can start to, if I just hit the auto, you can see now if I hit auto it starts to look completely different to the kind of flat JPEG. I'm not sure I like that process. I probably would just hit reset on that and I'm back to where I am, and I would have a play and look at the histogram. But why would I shoot RAW versus JPEG? I've seen that they're slightly different. Let's say I'd forgotten to set the white balance and I've been shooting indoors. I'm on tungsten. You can see here that I've got this horrible nasty blue background. How can I change that? So what I can do here is I can actually go to here and I can say white balance, and you can see here it was set to it wants to pick an auto, but I can say as shot. Well, okay, well that's even worse, right? That's really blue because I've got that nasty tungsten. So if I set tungsten, it doesn't make a change. But what I can do here is actually I shot it in daylight. So there you go. I've immediately set it to daylight, and it pretty much looks like the one where I had the white balance right. If I go to the JPEG version, because I shot both, these are the difference. Same image, just shot at the same time. I go back into it and I say, oh, um, I can't pick a white balance. Auto doesn't really make a change because it's too blue. Now I've got to manually play with these sliders to say, well, actually, is that right? Is that the right kind of white balance? I'm not really sure. Oh, a bit too green. Maybe in there somewhere. I'm not sure. That kind of looks like reasonable to me. And whereas here it's set automatically for me. I kind of, well, no, the yellow's not quite right, is it? Difficult to do, as you can see. So much better to shoot in RAW to be able to make those kind of edits. And the other example is the detail that you have in your shot. I don't know if you know this, but most camera lenses and sensors, when you put the two together, the sensor cannot see as much detail as your eye can in very bright areas or very dark areas. It tries to do too much if you try and ask it to cover both scenarios. If it's all uniformly lit, it's quite reasonable. If there's too much darkness there or too much brightness there, then you can start to lose resolution. And so I shot an extreme example here. But if you can look at this, so you can say here, okay, I was shooting a building and the sky. Let's leave that. So here's reset back to as was. I was having a little play with it. So this is the original image. As you can see, there's nothing in that sky. It's pretty much white paper. If I printed it, it would be white paper. The camera couldn't cope with the difference in this very bright sky versus this slightly darker roof. Now this is an overexposed image on purpose to show that, but on a bright sunny day you will lose all of the detail in the cloud. So okay, so let's take a look at the RAW. Well, that's pretty much the same. No information up here. It's white and blank. Not the best thing to have in your picture. So can we recover that is the question. So if I go back, and I'm just going to hit auto tone here, I'm really not that bothered. It's tried to pull highlights in up here, and it hasn't really been very successful. You can see there's no real detail in it. I can't see anything. And just to prove that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a graduated filter on, and I'm going to change it to darken. And I'm going to put that on, and you can see, you know, when I pull that down, there's nothing there. There's no detail, just this horrible artifacting going on. So I've lost it. You know, I can't get that image information back. I'm stuck with a white sky. Well, that's not ideal in a picture. So what happens if I try and do this with the raw picture? Now, it wasn't the most ideal of days today to pick it, but let's do auto. So hang on, what's this? Is that a white cloud here? White fluffy clouds? That looks like the information is there. Now, all I did was shoot them both at the same time with the both with the same exposure level. I've got none of that horrible artifacting on the right hand side there. So look what happens if I put up a graduated filter again. Ooh, now we can start to see there's even more detail. And if I knock that exposure back, wow, look at all that detail that's here. That's the clouds that are in the sky. And if you can compare the two of these, nothing there at all, detail in there. So that's why I would always recommend that you shoot raw. Certainly for anything that you really want to get the most out of, for high contrast kind of environments. If it's just family pictures inside the house, fine, shoot JPEG. But when you're going out trying to get that beautiful landscape and you've got those beautiful white fluffy clouds, if you're not careful, you'll just end up with a white blob in the middle of your sky. So there's just a couple of examples. Why would you shoot RAW versus JPEG? RAW has more information within it, and it is the raw data that is taken directly from the sensor. So there's no processing, there's no changing within it, and that's why I could go back and do things like changing the white balance afterwards, because that information hasn't been painted into that image. Whereas when I shoot a JPEG image, you know, it's automatically had the white balance painted into it by the camera that I now cannot set afterwards. So RAW gives you more flexibility, it has more information in it, it can help you recover data on a day that you didn't know you could get the data out of, as you saw from the sky picture. So I would encourage you to start to play, try it and see what you think. If you've got any questions or any comments, please feel free to reach out to me. Write them on the page. Reach out to me on either my Facebook page or my website, and I'll be more than happy to help you. If you want some one-to-one tuition, I do offer it directly, and we can help, you know, processing images and of course helping you get the right image. So please do subscribe. Look forward to seeing you all again soon. Have a great day and see you back on Camera Day soon.